Hello everyone, I'm Becky Goldsmith with Piece of Cake, and that is Pushing Boundaries up on my design wall. The pattern has been available as a digital download for quite a while, but I am only now getting around to quilting it. When I made this quilt, I thought I would machine quilt it. But you know what? I've decided I want to hand quilt it, and I've begun. The way I am hand quilting this is as follows. I have gone around almost every applique piece so far, quilting in the ditch with red pearl cotton. I'm using 12 weight pearl cotton. And it's really hard to see the stitches. And at this point, I have gone around all of the applique except the applique in that upper left-hand corner. That's where I am. Everything else is appliqued down. I could leave it there. I could stop right there and call it done, and it would be a very lightly quilted quilt. But that is not what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back inside each leaf with green thread, and I'm going to probably applique lines that go from the base of the leaf out to the rounded edge of the leaf. I'll either take them out and stop. You can see that's how those embroidered veins in the leaf already are. They go out and they stop at the edge, and that's probably what I'll do in most cases. I'm going to quilt at least 2 lines in inside the body of each one of those leaves, and in some cases maybe 3. The thing is, you don't want to heavily quilt one part and leave some other part less heavily quilted, and then it starts to look baggy. So I will judiciously hand quilt leaves in the veins in the leaves. I will also go in and hand quilt some sort of shape inside each flower. So some flowers already have petal-like shapes embroidered in them, and I'll probably work with that idea in some, and other flowers have just circular lines. I will play off these ideas as I do my hand quilting inside the flowers. I probably will not do any hand quilting in any of the stems because they're narrow enough they don't need it. But in the background, I will add some quilting in the background. And I'm probably going to do lines, horizontal or vertical lines, not drawn with a ruler, perhaps not hand drawn at all. I may just draw them with needle and thread, sort of following my nose in what feels like a nice linear pattern. I suspect that my lines of quilting will not be any closer than in some cases a ½ inch, but in other cases lines of quilting will be at least an inch apart. And I'm looking at the outer borders now. I suspect I will carry lines into the outer borders. It's possible that I will take the lines and box in the interior of the quilt, or maybe I'll do something else. I'll decide that when I get there. I could take, for instance, those leaves that end at the border. I could carry the outline of that leaf up into the border. That would be fun. So that is how I am going to hand quilt this particular applique quilt. It is similar to the way I quilt most applique quilts. I always go around the perimeter of all the applique. I make lines inside the applique shapes themselves, and I fill the background in a manner that makes the rest of the quilt feel happy. This is the second part of the video showing how I'm hand quilting around the applique on my Pushing Boundaries quilt. I'm doing big stitches with a number 12 pearl cotton, and I'm wearing my collar thimble from the Thimble Lady. I've also got a needle gripper. This one is rubber, but they also are available in silicone. And this is where I am right here. I'm going to put my needle in, and I'm making big stitches. So, I don't know, they're about 1/8 of an inch. The needle is being held by the fabric. My underneath finger, I'm mostly sewing into my index finger, you can tell because that's where my callus is forming. My index finger is, I can feel the needle with my index finger. I'm pushing down on it, but because I have a callus, it doesn't hurt so bad. I'm going to place one of the dimples on the thimble on the top of the needle. So the needle is being held like this between my thimble and finger. I'm rocking the thimble back as I push up with that bottom finger and down with the thumb in front. You can see the point of the needle, about a stitch length of it, and I'm rocking down with the needle, pushing it down. I can feel the point of the needle pushing through the fabric really too much because I was talking and doing it. And whoops, up, and there we go. I've gotten 2 stitches on my needle. Now, I am standing here, I'm standing for one thing, doing this quilting stitch, and I don't usually stand to quilt, but this is where the light is. I'm straddling a tripod with the camera really in front of my face. So this is a little bit harder to do than it would be if I was sitting on the sofa. So I'm bending back with the needle, pushing forward so I can see the point of the needle a stitch length. Now I'm rocking the needle straight up, pushing the needle through so that I can feel the needle pierce the fabric on the underside, and I'm lowering that bottom finger so that I can do that. Now I'm going to push up with my bottom finger as I roll the needle back and bring this top thumb in front forcefully to make a hill and push the needle through. Just like that. Now, are these my best stitches? No, but as I said, I'm straddling the camera here. It's hard to see what I'm doing. So there you go. Let me try this one more time. And I'm just going, no, I think I can get 2 stitches here because that is a deep little channel. Now, I want to now quilt the other way. I could either start making stitches and have several stitches kind of on top of each other. I don't think I want to do that. So I'm going to turn the quilt this way, try and get my hand underneath so I can feel what I'm doing. And then I'm going to push the needle through the top fabric and run it through the batting until I bring it up here, and then I'll start stitching again there. That's actually one of the wonderful parts about hand quilting. Within limits, you can send your needle over to start a new line of stitching just by running it through the batting. Now, if you do that, you want to be careful not to pull the thread too tight and pucker it up, or leave it too loose. But if you keep the tension on that thread that has traveled, even with the size of the quilt top, it should be fine. So that's how I hand quilt. I've got other videos that show the hand quilting, but as I work around applique shapes, I am continually changing my hoop. I continue to move it around because I like to quilt toward myself or subtly a little bit to the right. I don't quilt away from myself well at all. Some people can. I just can't. All right. I hope this helps. Thank you for watching, and may you have many happy stitches.